Awesome. We're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of node.js ComCom. We have a pretty packed agenda today, so we're going to keep it at a good clip. So let's start off with initiative updates. Hey, Ben. Welcome. Let's get you co-host. There we go. Cool. We'll start off with a round of initiative updates. We'll just go down from the top. Even if the update is no significant update, let's make sure we at least touch base with everybody. So going down from the top, badges, we're still in a holding pattern on website redesign and design stuff. That's the only update. I18N, Ben, you want to give a quick update on what's going on in that part of the world?
Sure. There are no significant updates at the moment, but
awesome.
It's an awesome initiative.
Yes, it is. Mentorship.
Is Ahmed on?
I don't believe so. I didn't see him come in.
I'll go. So mentorship has been collaborating with the foundation team, getting some support to help automate some things and manage some logistics. That's all.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Look forward to see what comes out.
Thank you, Tracy Lee, for heading that.
Yeah, and thank you, Tracy Lee, for the awesome Google Doc you sent out for proposal for next steps there. Yeah. Node.js collection is on the initiatives list. Tierney is not able to call in, but this might also be a good time for Rachel to quickly say hi. Rachel, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Can you guys hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, great. Yeah, so yeah, this is Rachel. I was actually on 2 weeks ago. I'm going to be helping with the Node.js collection and some other PR initiatives. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Rachel. Awesome. User feedback. Dan, you want to give an update?
You bet. So user feedback, today, Ahmed Nasri is leading the enterprise focus area. We'll be meeting immediately following this meeting, bring together some folks from TELUS, PayPal, Netflix, and doing some interesting collaborations.
Beautiful. Looking forward to that in the same exact Zoom channel. And website redesign update. We had a good meeting last week. We talked about next steps for actually building it out. We have somebody in the progress of getting an experimental repo set up with, oh good Lord, what's the name? With the framework that we had discussed using over in the website redesign repo. Gatsby, thank you. Just brain fart right there. So yeah, we're getting an experimental repo set up. Excited to actually start digging into some code. Also, recently, the PR with the amazing Node.js getting started documentation finally landed in master. So yeah, excited for that to get pulled in. Yeah, so good movement over there. Manil, did I miss anything on that?
We have 2 new contributors. I'm going to say they're engaged because they have shown up twice now to meetings at very odd time zones for them, especially one of them, very far in the future. So yeah, that's really rad. I'm really excited for that.
Mm-hmm. Good momentum. Awesome. Any other Stray initiative updates before we get started with the agenda? No? Cool. Awesome. So we're going to kick it off with item number 1 here in Node.js/admin. This is more thorough support for travel fund recipients. Last action on it. This is issue number 239 in Node.js/admin. Last action on it was to wait. Tierney commented last meeting, going to wait until next ComCom meeting so Sarah Conway can come in and Tracy can come in to discuss with ComCom. I don't see Sarah on here, but Tracy Lee, you want to dive in?
Yeah, sorry, I thought this was mentioned, talked about a long time ago. So it's been a few weeks since we discussed this. Basically, we obviously want to help support anything we can do. And I talked to Tyranny about this offline as well. But, obviously from a foundation perspective, we can only support the events that we actually host. And even though we would, love to help, call the embassies and different things like that when there's issues, because, so basically what happens sometimes is people will get a letter saying like, hey, I can't participate. And at that point in time, what do we do, right? So what we've done is, especially for the last Collab Summit is, they said, oh, we need X, Y, and Z. And we can do things like edit the travel letter to try to help provide more support to that. But when we're, some people asked us to call the, some asked us to, to call the embassy. And while we would have loved to do that, we can't legally do that because there's just too many legal implications around it. But we're open to, figuring out how we can directing people to their specific embassies or anything like that. But, again, there's only so much we can do to not get us into a position where it gets us in trouble, right? From a foundation perspective.
Mm-hmm. Hey, welcome, Sarah. We're talking about the visa support issue, node admin 239.
Yes. No, I thank you.
believe...
Yeah, I was going to add too that I think in time, and one, there are sometimes complications or lack of legal expertise, or in terms of stepping in. But then I think there have been other cases where we have stepped into or tried to, and we actually were very ineffective. We didn't again have any success when we did try to put in some of the legwork. So that's been some of the complications.
So there was some discussion last time about just if there's a single communication channel for people who have questions about the process, even just the basic, pointing them in the right direction for where to, how to actually file for a visa or how to get the letter. There was discussion about setting up a dedicated like visas at node.js email alias where people could be on there to help that. Is that still something we want to do, or is that?
I think we could do it. I have to say, I think that the response that we'd give would probably be a standard stock response for almost any inquiry with like, here are the steps and here is our advice. I don't think we'd get into customized responses and handholding, but I think there could definitely be a standard response and then an alias.
Okay, yeah.
I was just going to say, I think documenting somewhere like here are the things we can do and here are the things we can't do somewhere would be a good thing as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the admin repo, there is a document around visas.
Right.
That would be somewhere it can live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just think just calling out the things that we can't do, like, if people have asked that we call and that's just something we've found doesn't work, actually listing those things might be helpful as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. So we'll add as an action item, at least getting that email alias set up as one extra channel to help people point people to the right place in the process, which may just be redirecting them to the file in the admin repo.
Right.
But we'll probably, at least it'll help improve discoverability a bit.
Right. And we can, to your point about what we can do and what we can't do, that might be helpful seeing it outlined like that as well.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So I'm going to remove the CC agenda label from this, and we'll make sure offline that we follow up with the new email alias. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Moving on. This is in Node.js/Node.js collection. Node.js collection suggested updates and changes, issue number 31. I believe Zibby wanted this on the agenda. Rachel, is there updates here that you want to share about?
Yeah, basically we were trying to encourage more editors, and at various times we've needed to sort of solicit for this and expand that pool just to be able to facilitate a timely review. So I know that Zibby had put together sort of a slight process change and a call to try to get more reviewers in the pool and widen that review process. So she actually wrote up all the recommendations, and be happy to just, share that either by GitHub or through the node collection repo, or whatever's best. What do you?
Totally. I think so. I think first steps for people here on the call, like it would be awesome if we could get more than a few ComCom members hooked in as editors. Other than I believe it's just Tyranny right now as the other one. I'm going to send an email to that medium@nodejs.org asking to be an editor, so that I can get looped in there as well. Is there do we get added as I suppose editors on the Medium account and get notified when there's new stuff to look over, or what does the actual like call to action process look like for an editor?
There's a email alias for Medium at node.js, and so that's sort of the first part of the process. And so I can actually share after this call just all of our documentation that we had in terms of how to improve the onboarding process for the editors and sort of formalize the process, and then put out a call for new editors. And that it really outlines exactly what the steps are and how the review's been handled to date. And as you said, it's been Tierney and Zibby bearing the whole load.
Awesome. Well, I quite literally just sent an email right now asking to become an editor, and
Right.
Let's consider this a call to action for anybody else on ComCom who wants to help out with that.
Great, thank you.
Beautiful. And we can follow back around if we need to drive engagement more for editing.
Shout out to Zibby for some really amazing offboarding there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she left it in really good shape, and I know there'll be other people stepping in here too.
Yeah, 100%.
Thanks, sir.
Keeping on the social media and outreach train here. This is issue number 411 in Node.js ComCom. Sprout Social and social media champions. This is also something that Zibby was driving to help spread around some of the responsibility of managing social media. Rachel, take it away.
It's actually Amanda.
Oh, Amanda, even better.
Yeah, I have gone through Zibby's rough draft. I've actually made some tweaks to it. She did a fantastic job. I mean, we can all admit that Zibby is an amazing asset and is well missed. But I think some of her points were fantastic, and I think that we need to readjust a few of them just because they're not going to work in the overall grand scheme of things. I've shared it with Sarah. I'd like her thoughts before I share it out through GitHub. But the overall thought process is to have 2 co-chairs so that there is a community member that is also providing insight and valid information throughout our social channels. So that's just a widespread overview of what it's going to be. Obviously, there's a breakdown, there's some guidelines and overall agenda items. I would like to have Sarah's input on that before I share it out to the entire community.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully by early next week, we should be able to share that out through GitHub and have a plan in place.
Awesome. I know that I'm very excited to see us get some more community access and involvement with social media channels. And it's going to be a big win for the community here. So excited to see that plan. We'll keep the agenda label on here for further discussion next time once we actually see a proposal.
Great.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Anything else to add on social media before moving on?
Not at this time. I do want to say a big thank you to Tracy Lee. She has been super, super helpful. She's thebomb.com. Really love her.
Who actually owns thebomb.com?
The 90s.
Can we get that? Oh, thebomb.com domain is for sale. If anyone's looking for a new purchase. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of Tracy, issue number 425, Node Store launch under ComCom.
Yeah, so after a million approvals and good Lord knows, I don't even know. But anyways, I'm very excited now because I want to go, let's see if I can go ahead and share my screen. So we, can I, let's see, share, oh, share screen. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so can everyone see my screen over here?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the updated Node store, and before we put it out on social and write blog posts about it and get people all excited about it, we just wanted to share it with you guys to see if there's any issues. Obviously, again, not like I need to do some little editing here. But, you know, we're also adding in the white Node.js regular decals, and then you know, making sure that these are to the right size, like the proper hex. But, you know, Adam was super helpful in getting like this amazing Pride tee. Yay. Going. So he helped with that design, and he also helped with this design. So thanks, Adam, for doing that. Yeah, so if anybody has any, you know, opinions about this or whatever, feel free to message me, ladylead@nodejs.org. I love the pink, and we have a dress, which I'm really excited about as well. But you know, we wanted to get more swag, but we just like, it cost a lot of money for us to buy all this swag. So we did the best we could. So.
Hey, Tracy, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
What was remember when, I mean, I guess it was Node Interactive, so maybe this doesn't apply, Node.js Interactive, but there was a shirt that some people really were excited about, and I can't even remember why I was so excited about it, but I didn't know if it would fit here or not. Shirt. Remember there were 3 shirt designs, and a bunch of people were like, I gotta have this third one, but the first one was chosen.
Oh, yes, the Node.js Interactive shirts, yes.
Yeah,
yeah, I'll definitely bring that up and see if we can add it to the store. I don't know if this, typically we like to do like only Node specific swag, but maybe since the Node Interactive is part of that.
I'm trying to remember why I liked it so much. So maybe it could be abstracted away from the event itself, the design, but I can't remember what the design was. So I'm kind of speaking in, you know, abstract terms, I guess. Anyway,
yeah, I'll talk to you about that offline, and we can figure that out. Yeah,
sounds good.
Printed as they're ordered or bought ahead of time? It seemed like
they're bought ahead of time. Yeah, so we have like inventory of a bunch of these things.
Okay, so color choices are not doable then, if that's the case.
You know, I will totally actually bring that up and see if we can actually do that. The price probably just goes up. So inventory printed on demand. Yeah, I'll see if our person can actually support that.
Yeah, that would be incredibly helpful for growing the store, because we can have more offerings that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Is there a process we should follow if we have an idea for a new sticker or a shirt design or something like that? Is there a process we should follow to propose it or pitch it to you? Other than just shooting you an email?
Yeah, unless it gets like starts getting super crazy, like informally, you can just email me, ladylead@nodejs.org, and you know, we can just like talk about it. The approval process for the what is it called? The trademark. It took a little bit of time with Joyent, but anyways, regardless, like we can figure it out. And I think certain things can get approval immediately or don't need approval at all. And then certain other things like, you know, the things that Adam, you designed, you know, we obviously needed to get a little bit more approval. And yeah, so whatever. I mean, we can just talk about it. No big deal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
What is shipping going to end up being costing in most of these cases? I'm just curious.
I have no idea.
Okay.
But yeah.
Do you know what the budget is for it, Tracy?
Budget is for
like, well, is there any budget attached to this that does cover the shipping, the costs that come out of it?
Budget that covers the
shipping, or is it paid for by the people who place the order?
It's paid for by the people who place it.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. Okay, I see now.
So if it's, the one thought I had, I don't know if it's a good one, but like when we have events, I wonder if like a deliver to event would be a good option.
Right, and that was actually, do you know if there is a small discretionary fund for us to donate and deliver swag? Correct, Tracy?
It's pretty small, and Zibby used it up all this. Zibby used it all up this year already. So maybe it's something for, you know, the board or you, Sarah, talk about whoever internally, maybe we increase it. But something that a lot of the meetups have, well, not a lot, but a few of the different meetups have talked to us about, or conferences have said like, hey, can Node Foundation support? And what Zibby has done is basically give them a code and they can order stickers from it, or we'll send them some swag. And again, usually it's by just giving them a code to the actual store with like X amount of dollars. So
we just had a budget and finance meeting, so we're just getting started on the budget, like line item work for Node.
Yeah, I meant more
discussed or confirmed yet.
I was coming more from like if shipping's not going to be trivial compared to the prices, we might be able to enable people by like saying, hey, if you're coming to Node Interactive or Node.js Interactive and order some stuff, have it shipped there, and then basically have a pickup desk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that way people can still order the things they want. But
that definitely sounds like an interesting idea. I'd love to when that, you know, for the next one, I'd love to like talk about it a few months before and figure out how painful or non-painful that might be.
That's what it comes down to, because like how much, somebody's got to put some work in, and then like how easy is that going to end up being?
Yeah.
So. And what we could probably do is just like take the swag and sell the swag.
I was going to say that's what KubeCon does. They have a swag store on site, and even when you check in and you get like your conference T-shirt, you get like a ticket, and you have to redeem it at the swag store on the show floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's maybe a better idea.
Yeah. So we can definitely we should totally think about doing that for the next Node.js Interactive.
Yeah, we would just want to make sure that gets built into the budget early, so that it's not even a problem, because in that scenario what we end up having to do is buy this swag time and have it stocked up. And I've seen conferences where they do that, where you know, some of the items are way more popular than others, so you end up with pretty much having to give stuff away because you're not going to like carry it around and resell it.
Cart it back. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah. So
do we have so in the budget conversations, do we have a good estimate on how much budget to ask for delivering swag to meetups, so the foundation can help support that? And can we help promote that at all? Should we be promoting that?
Zibby just ran out of budget, so she only just needed an extra few $100s. But I think if we're like promoting that we can do this, like I would recommend maybe doubling that budget. It was a very small budget, so I don't know if a few extra $1,000 is going to be an issue. But I don't remember the exact number, but I don't remember it being that much money that we spent on it.
I would love to see us in the next year double down a bit more on community meetups and outreach. In that fashion. So if we can get a bit more budget for that next year, it'd be great.
So the idea that we're going to be pushing for, at least we had talked about a bit, was that more about the idea that like the, you know, community folks get like just a set budget, right? We don't have to determine line item by line item, but what that would mean is then the project is responsible for splitting that out, and like the money you get is the money you get, because we don't tend to run with some like, you know, huge surplus. So yeah, that's like up to us, right? So if we take money for that, then it gets taken out of something else like travel fund.
Okay, that's fair. I don't mind us having that responsibility. I think we can balance that.
I think we can also check with the CNCF team in terms of what were the costs for that swag store, because that would be more an event cost. So I could see that being something that would benefit all projects, you know, as we head into if there's a merger. So yeah, I'll just try to get some background on that, Tracy, to share with you.
Okay, I'm going to open up a new issue in ComCom to discuss that a little bit, just so we don't lose track of it. It'd be easy to lose that thread. So to do new issue to discuss meetup swag. Awesome. We'll keep that thread going. I want to move us on since we have a lot more issues to get to. But Tracy, oh my God, the store is amazing. You're amazing, and I can't wait to see this stuff floating around at conferences.
Thank you for poking and designing those fun logos.
Of course, yeah. And I'd love to actually, we'll talk about this offline, but I'd love to take a stab at tweaking that banner at the top of the store page as well.
Oh, please do. Yeah. Yes. It took us a second. You'll do better.
That, you mean the strip?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I quite like the strip.
Yeah, I think we can tighten it up a bit, I think, but yeah.
If you can send me the image afterwards, I might use it as my background.
Okay.
I need something new, so.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Cool. Let's speaking of travel fund, that was a segue. Did you catch it? Issue number 426 in ComCom. Tracy wanted to chat about travel fund update a bit, right?
Okay, so basically, you know, yes. So, you know, this year we really talked to ComCom and GEM, of course, and a bunch of other folks, right, and CSA and ComCom about how to make travel fund more visible, right? Like how much money we have left, how much money it's been paid out, et cetera, et cetera. So it's taken quite some time for us to actually get to this point, but I'm so happy that now this markdown file is actually the source of truth. Shocking. So every time we get an update, like every time we get an email we update this travel fund. So it's like, okay, first name, last name, event reason, pull request, you know, date expense report sent. And obviously like some of this stuff is old, so I can scroll down to probably newer ones. Well, anyways, markdown. So date expense report sent, amount of expense report, right? Date sent to finance, and then the final amount paid. So it's like, this is the amount requested, 1360, and then amount paid, right? So now you guys can really figure out like, okay, you know, $50,000 was requested from the travel fund, but really only, you know, like $20,000 was actually utilized or something like that. And then you can also see of the people. So, you know, we also have this 30-day policy now, right? So last year we kind of had an issue with like people not submitting for quite some time. And then the travel fund was obviously not up to date in terms of how much money we had. So this kind of solves that problem. One thing I'm talking to Jem about, which probably we could use help for anybody who wants to do this. So Tierney had some ideas about how, was it like Manhattan.js does it? But, you know, since it's a markdown file now, like we don't have totals. And so it'd be so great to see totals.
Yeah, that's what's going to be my next question is.
Yeah.
Because having to add it all together, I think will slow people down from doing that check.
Yeah. So that's like the one thing that's missing. I mean, at least it's more visible now to everybody and, you know, whatever. But the crappy part about it not living in a spreadsheet is that, anyways, I mean, I'm sure this is a problem that y'all can figure out for us. I think Manhattan.js adds it into the build process or something, and it just totals things. But anyways, it's there. So that's where we're at. Super happy about the progress anyways. Any questions about it?
No, I'm glad it's source of truth. We should definitely look into getting some tooling to know how much is left in the fund without resumming it.
Yeah, I mean, you could just copy and paste it obviously into a spreadsheet, but like probably don't want to do that every single time. But
yeah, there's better ways to do that. Michael, how hard would it be to get a little post commit hook to update the sum each time?
I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't added one, but I think there's some hooks, like some check-in hooks and stuff. I don't know if they can do updates versus just validation though.
Yeah. I know there's hooks you can hook into for like after a PR is posted, it'll like auto commit some changes to the same branch. We can look into that.
Yeah, I think it's worth opening an issue to see if somebody has time to look into it.
Yeah. Let's see. Hook, taking notes. Sorry. Hook into PR. Hook to add some automatically. Awesome. It's an action item in the meeting notes. We'll open up an issue to see if we can get somebody to look into it. I think that's the last step to making this thing like an end-to-end process.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing is I see one of the numbers is in euros, so that would add something would be a bit harder, but
a layer of complexity there.
Yeah.
We can probably make an ask that people keep it in one currency. since the foundation is a US nonprofit, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask people to convert it to US dollars.
Agreed.
Yeah, and we can add some linting for that. So, awesome. Anything else to add on travel fund updates?
Nope, just if you haven't submitted any travel expenses, please do. That's all there.
I am guilty of that. So, whoops. We'll do that soon. Awesome. Moving on to issue number 390 in ComCom, individual membership subgroup proposal, request for feedback. This issue's been open for a hot second, but we're just going to use it as kind of a launching point to talk about the current state of it as a whole. So Dan, you want to jump in and take it away?
Right. This is kind of an Adam, Tracy, and Dishaw middle ground here. But at a high level, we've been doing bi-weekly meetings, every 2 weeks, fortnightly meetings, working toward a proposal to the board, for our go forward strategy with the individual membership. And we've had that on Mondays. Unfortunately, with my new job, I can't maintain that schedule or really, manage yet another initiative. It's kind of outside of my threshold. So, we have in sort of our immediate future a need to set Tracy Hines up with kind of a little bit more packaged presentation of what we have done, and then in general, I need to step back from that, and would love to sort of invite others to raise their hand to see if there's someone else who wants to take on that coordinating those meetings.
So I would love to propose a way to kind of move forward on this and see how others feel about it. So Tracy and I are actually just in the past day and a half have been taking a stab at writing a more formal looking, something you can print out and give to a board type of proposal for the individual membership recommendations. That's for both the program itself and for a recommendation on representation ideas. Everything that's been discussed in the meeting. I believe we're still on track to have some type of draft document for folks to look at. Hopefully tomorrow we'll send it out. Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong. I know it's on us, but is that realistic? Yeah, I got time today to work on it too. So it's really just a polishing of stuff that we've already discussed about. We're doing it in the format of the Bootstrap staged proposal process, literally just using that same form to fill it out, so that we can hopefully easily up-level it to Bootstrap discussions as well when needed. And then I think unless some major things pop up, we can handle signing off on that doc and saying we're comfortable sharing this as the official recommendation from the subgroup. We can do that fairly async. We can see if we need just one more meeting to put a bow on it if needed. But then we're basically waiting for thumbs up, thumbs down from board folk. And then I'd love to see this kind of phase of individual membership come to a close. Say we put a bow on the recommendation process and start fresh with actual execution after we get sign off. There's going to be a long process for actually executing on the recommendations that we had. It would be kind of nice to see that kick off in the new year as a new process with a new champion, and actually have execution be its own standalone process. How do people think about that?
Just for a little more context too, the draft of the individual membership proposal is going to be much longer than what y'all have probably previously seen, because all of the details have to be lined out. That includes even the recommendation for tooling for the membership program to succeed. So it's not just what's been talked about like late in the last couple of months, but also what we had talked about over the past year, everything from the individual membership systems, such as election or managing the membership system, to how, who selects the nomination process for the recommendation to the director, to like who would vote for them, and how that happens, because all of those details have to be fleshed out. And then what Adam and I are doing is also splitting that out into two proposals. So one proposal for the program itself, the other proposal is for the director seat, because we don't want one to get tanked because of the other. And the program can move forward arguably without the seat. So we wanted to make sure that all of those pieces, since we've had lots of experience with this problem already, that we can set it up for success. So it's just going to be just word of caution. It will be a lot of reading. And then, yeah, as Adam said, moving forward next year, what we'll turn into is getting to maintain, manage, and, I guess, launch this new program and then maintain it. And that work would include, if approved, managing the membership system, and getting more folks, evangelizing that work. So.
Yeah, it'll very much look like a product launch for Node.js, which I'm actually rather excited to see us go through. So how do folks feel about that as a potential path forward? I'm seeing thumbs up. Looks good. Cool. So I think Tracy, it's just on you and me to write a whole bunch in the next day or so and get that out into people's hands.
Yeah.
We'll get a better feel if we need another meeting to talk about details in that doc. I really don't think a lot that's going to be in there will be a surprise to folks. It's just really the last codification of all these conversations we've been having over the past year.
Yeah, and just to make it so it doesn't feel like we're all of a sudden providing some sense of urgency. We've been trying to work on this for a while, and in various ways. Also been working on this in the Joint Strategy Subcommittee, with lots of stalls there as well. So the reason that we're sort of going to be in a hurry in terms of getting +1s from folks and feedback on those docs is that, again, we are deadlined with this December meeting potentially of the board, because the elections are, the election schedule wise is set to happen in January for William's seat. So, we have a responsibility to, run on schedule. And so we need to provide the alternative and put it in the board's seat for decision making, with them knowing that the election is coming up. So, yep, that's it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and just reiterating, depending on how a discussion goes on the doc itself, we'll figure out if we need one more in-person meeting to just talk about details, just because it'll probably be faster after we see what the response is like. And I am so excited to see this go across the line, because this has been in the works for a long time. It's going to feel so good. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add before we keep on chugging along? No? Awesome. The silence is deafening. So next issue is number 428 over on ComCom repo. This is Node.js contributor cards. I was PRing in old meeting notes and saw that this got dropped from the meetings ago as an action item. So I made a new issue, threw it on there. It's something that Tierney was hoping to champion, I believe. But Tierney is not able to make it to this meeting, unfortunately. So we'll save this for next time as well.
There is an action item on here. I looked it up when I saw this in the agenda. I had a to-do from the 1st of November. So it's a really long time ago. It hasn't been deployed, but we do have a static point of entry site.
Awesome.
Yeah, and very conveniently, it's in Gatsby. So if we did want to integrate it into the new site design, yeah, it's there.
That is awesome. Yeah, if what would it take to get that deployed in a place where we can take a look at it?
I don't think very much. Like I probably would want to transfer that into node.js, and then I think it would need a domain redirect, which right now it seems to be unassigned. I believe because my screenshot from the original thing says the person who's supposed to do it may not be available anymore. So yeah, that's probably what it would take. It needs to be transferred into the Node.js repo somewhere, and then deployed, and then redirected.
Cool. Manil, before we even get it transferred in, like if you want it, just spin it up somewhere, like a public static site, free static site hosting of some kind, just so we can take a look at it, or like maybe post screenshots in the issue of the site. Awesome to take a look at that, so we don't have to wait until it's all pulled in. We got CI set up and a whole bunch of that madness to see what's up. So,
right. Yeah, that's my next step.
Okay, that is beautiful. Yeah, and it's very possible. Ulterior motive here. The website redesign process has not talked about what the community page looks like at all, which is ironic because it's run by the community committee. So if this landing page for, hey, this is Node.js, this is how you can get involved, this is the process, like it sounds a lot like it could transform into a community page, which makes me even happier to hear that it's written in Gatsby, so we can maybe just continue expanding on this and port it over to the website a little later.
Yeah,
that's a big meaty topic that maybe we'll pick up in the website redesign working group to chat about.
Totally.
So I'll add the website redesign label to this issue as well, so we can talk about if that's a possibility. And we'll come back and report on progress on that at the next ComCom meeting.
Great.
Cool. When Tierney is also here to chime in. Sweet. Issue 385. This is the constantly recurring charter changes, remove redundancies PR. Thank you everybody who chimed in with like looks good to me. Tracy, what does board meeting approval process look like here? What's the timeline? I think like this has been around for long enough. People have gotten plenty of chances.
Okay, so I asked about this because I could have sworn we had already approved this. So what ended up happening at our last board meeting, which was at Interactive, was that we did not have the time, because we had joint meetings with both foundations, to have a public session, and because of that, we don't do approval for all of the project work in private sessions, right? That's not how we work. We are supposed to be transparent about that work. So it got delayed until the next public session, which is December. So I have no doubt it will get approved, but just waiting for that.
Okay. Do we have, so there were 2 PRs for 2 separate changes to the charter. We approved the first one pretty quickly. This one was just like, I think people didn't hit the approve button on GitHub, but I think this, as of just a few days ago, like has enough +1s to shipping to also get approval. So it sounds like you already had it in the queue anyway for the meeting.
Well, the one for July, yes.
Okay, yeah.
But we'll have the other one as well, as long as it's clear and ready to go.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is, I guess, last call for objections to this getting merged in as is. Otherwise, forever hold your peace until we open up a new PR and get it approved by the board in a process that takes another 6 months. I'm just excited for this to go in so that my OCD is sated and we can see that pull request number go down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I will say this is an extraordinary circumstance, and while the board can be take a while in some things, this is not normal. This is because of administrative snafus and confusion on both ends, and not the most graceful of transitions with the exit of Mark. So yeah, this is fortunately this is an anomaly. Hopefully.
Awesome. And then I believe, unless there's anything else to add on that topic, where'd my agenda go? There it is. Unless there's anything else to add on that topic, we have one more topic left with about 9 minutes to go. Save this for last because it was meatiest and we can continue talking about it next time and or offline, online, if need be. But this is issue number 414 in the ComCom repo. I believe, Dawson, you opened this up. This is merger discussion, community committee across multiple projects. Do you want to kick off the conversation, Michael?
Right, we had touched on this before, and it was basically the discussion about the C3 and the relationship to the existing community committee. I think we talked about it last time, and it was agreed that it wasn't we convert the committee into the C3, but that the C3 is a different new organization. I'm not sure. So I guess, building on that, then there's a couple of issues open in the Bootstrap committee, at least one, which is like, what will the C3 look like? So I think we could use the community members to chime in there. Joe Seppi's put together a start of an outline of, what the responsibilities and so forth would be. So I think that's sort of the follow-on to this. The other discussion, which is been started, is do we really need two separate committees at the sort of cross-project level? We have a lot of history and sort of a path that got us to having a ComCom and a technical steering committee in Node, and that all makes sense. When we move one step away from the projects themselves, there's actually less direct, like I'm committing a code change in that work, and it's more on a higher level of all the things are kind of more like strategy, keeping the community in the right direction. And so, in some of the recent discussions there, it did come up just like, how would you actually separate out those two pieces, and actually does it make sense for them just to be one? So that's another aspect of the conversation that I think is worth definitely getting the ComCom's viewpoint discussed and sort of fed into that, the Bootstrap discussions.
Yeah, I feel like this topic could be a whole meeting in and of itself. So
yeah,
I don't know where to start in this conversation.
Yeah, definitely. And that may end up being valuable for us. We can spin up a dedicated meeting about how this group thinks that C3 should operate. I think we're probably in one of the better positions of folks involved in the Bootstrap conversation to make that type of recommendation. I think just having that time to discuss it might also help us mull through some of the ideas that we have going through our heads.
Well, maybe the premise of the discussion shouldn't be like how C3 should operate, rather like what is the entity that is valuable? What do we see the entity being that is valuable for that organization?
Yeah, I don't disagree. And for the sake of time, I'll plant a seed here from a conversation that I had very recently. The concept of having one top-level committee, but then breaking out the duties for bringing in projects into the group, being sort of like a superset or some sort of other group that is a little more specific. And the thought being there that a community-oriented council should have a low barrier to entry, but accepting projects in should be a very thoughtful consideration. But a lot of the things that we've been talking about for both the CPC and the C3, starts to get gray where the lines are, I suppose. So that's one thought, like one big open sort of committee that has a low barrier to entry, and then a specific one for a specific task.
Yeah, I can plus one that, and that's something that I feel pretty, I guess, sort of strongly about as well. So I'd love to carry that on in another discussion, maybe that we could schedule soon.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is it possible for us to do this in 2 weeks? I mean, do we need to have yet another meeting?
So is this, just to get context though, is this for how the node group that should think thinks that this, like what the C3 should be and like what the outcome is, or are we talking about this is bootstrap work?
Well,
so this is from what I've gotten from a number of the bootstrap meetings is people a little unsure what the approach should be to C3 versus CPC, and I think there's a few people who are afraid of stepping on ComCom toes with some recommendations. So it'd be really nice to get a well thought out statement or recommendation from this group, so we can kind of help set the tone of the conversation over on the bootstrap committee side.
You just need to like represent. I think there could be a meeting specific to the C3 discussion, but I would caution against having a ComCom statement on what the C3.
Oh yeah, not
having all of the JSF folks in the room as part of the conversation from the beginning. Because this is starting from scratch. I know the ComCom exists.
Yeah, I mean,
C3 is a different beast.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that.
Sorry,
no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Michael.
I was just gonna say, like, the main reason I opened this is because I think, this group we have a lot of people who have, participated in the community and have the sort of background and sort of context to provide some good input, and just want to make sure that we get that input from the community. It doesn't have to be a formally, this is what we recommend.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would just highly encourage people to show up to the meeting that is scheduled for the Bootstrap group, or specifically in regards to C3.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Tracy, I forget. Is there a meeting for C3?
No, not yet.
No.
Okay, so maybe we can help take the lead on getting that started. I agree.
Yes.
Like it'll be good.
Within the bootstrap context. Yep.
It would. Yeah, within the bootstrap context, and I think there's a lot of value. I want to think of the conversation also as there's a lot of value in getting kind of a collective feel for the opinions in this body, because there's just by nature of association, there will be a close kinship felt to C3 and the position that takes, or the direction that takes. So just getting a feel for how this body feels about the direction it's headed in will be valuable for us moving forward. So I'd love to see that emerge from the conversation as well.
Well, certainly people can chime in on that issue, and there's a Google Doc along with it as well if people want to async add their thoughts.
Yeah,
Joe.
I was just gonna say. Sorry.
Go. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I think the most important thing here is to find consensus among the groups and to not take a stance of like, this is our group and their group or whatever. Like, if this is a thing that we're making together, it's a correlated thing. This is not ComCom. This is not JSF. This is like, we need to figure out who we are now, collectively in a consensus. So bootstrap meeting definitely makes sense for that. But I just like coming into it with that mentality. I feel like we'll be more healthy instead of the, like, hey, let's approach this as ComCom, or let's approach this as like this other group. Like, no, we're creating a new one, So.
Yep.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, take a bow. Joe, do you want, I think there is kind of a want for that dedicated C3 discussion meeting, and to just kind of pull out the interdependencies here.
I think it should
more dedicated way. With the whole group, like open invitation to everybody involved in Bootstrap. But
I was going to say, I think it should be the larger discussion, not just C3. It should almost be like C3 and CPC. Should there be one? Should there be two? And then if there are two, what are the, how do you make the division of roles? So I think it should be that whole, what's that? What are the groups going to be? And then a little bit we can, you can drill into what they are. Yeah,
agreed. Joe, since you already have the Google Doc started to be fleshed out and you're engaged in the Bootstrap repo, do you want to help kick off an additional meeting just with context around that question? Of how do these two groups?
Should I just file an issue and suggest that we have a meeting dedicated to fleshing that out?
Yeah. Yep. I think that's the best way to get started.
That's great.
Okay.
Cool. And with that as our action item, we are exactly at time, and we got through the whole agenda right on time. Look at us go. Okay. Are there any other things to add before we wrap up the conversation here?
I'm just so thankful for y'all. That's all I want to say. You guys are great. Y'all are great.
So much love. So much love.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And with that, I will take us off the live stream. Thanks, everyone.